So, what's something about the Toronto brass scene that people outside the city might not know about, but they should?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It does seem to be something that's growing and something that's building. There's some great places for it now, like some clubs that are focused a lot on it. So one place I like to shout out is Drom Taberna, which is on Queen Street West in Toronto, and that place, it will have brass bands playing multiple times a week, even multiple times a day. And there's a scene. There's brass jams. There's like a dozen different brass groups that play there, and it's something that's like wasn't maybe around when we started as much, but has grown now into something that's much more of a community now. And I think that's like what's awesome that's happened in Toronto.
That's always good.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Communities.
Yeah. Today we've got Paul on the Worldwide Entertainment TV podcast.
Yeah,
Could
very
you-
excited to be here. Awesome.
Thank you for joining us. Could you
Thanks.
tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a saxophone player. Been playing for actually about 30 years now. I started the Heavyweights Brass Band back in 2010, and we're just released our 5th album. So yeah, big
Okay.
times.
So yeah, you have a little experience there with this music
A
thing, eh?
little bit. Some time's gone by. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you just said NAKO is
Yes,
your fifth album.
fifth
What does
album
this
as band.
what does this project represent to the band in this stage of your journey?
Yeah, I think it's more of a generational kind of sound now because we've added some younger members. So we all kind of started in our 20s and
Yeah.
kind of moved through time, had a lot of different ideas kind of moved through the band. And now the younger generation, we've got these two brothers, Kay Murphy and Nolan Murphy, who are now coming up in their 20s, entering the brass band scene in Toronto. And we're kind of brought their energy into the band now. So it's kind of seeing the band hit different levels of different generations kind of working together. So I think that's something that hadn't happened as much before, and that's kind of a new thing now. So it kind of gives us something to propel us forward.
Okay. So the album was recorded live off the floor in just 2 days.
Yeah,
Why was that
yeah.
approach important to you? How did it
'Cause
shape the final sound?
yeah, well, we're always trying to chase that live sound. So when you play for a crowd, when you play live, you get that energy, and sometimes in a studio that gets lost. So if you kind of play live off the floor, you're all together, you kind of feel that at least energy in the room. You might not have an audience, but you have each other to kind of give the energy off of each other, so you can kind of get as close as you can to that live experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did the title NAKO come about?
Well, I mean, our band is the Heavyweights Brass Band, so we always have kind of boxing references, and
Yeah.
then it was Kay Murphy's song. He wrote the song "Knockout," which is like the title track, and it just it fits the band's sound. It's the idea that we're going for. I know it's round 5, but we're going for that
Yeah.
knockout this time. So yeah.
So you just mentioned your bandmate Nolan Murphy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the song's name is Carnicero?
What's that? Yeah, yeah, his tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So what
Carnicero. Yeah.
what inspired that song for him to write it?
Yeah, so for him writing it, I mean, it's really that connection. So we definitely base a lot of our music on the New Orleans brass band sound, and the New
Yeah.
Orleans always has a very strong connection with the Cuban sound of just the 90 miles away, and they do often connect those two, like the Latin culture with the American roots music culture, and so that sound is often in there in a lot of the brass bands. So he kind of decided, I'm going to get this tune and I'm going to focus on that sound, and then we kind of named it after our original trombone player. His name is Chris Butcher, so Carnicero is butcher in Spanish. So he was one musician who always played in a lot of salsa bands, a lot of Cuban bands, because a lot of the Cuban community in Toronto too is very strong. So that was something we kind of connected all those things together.
Okay. You just talked about the album involving like an evolution.
Yeah.
How did you choose which younger musicians to bring in, and what did they bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just seemed, yeah, it's one of those ones, just like, how did we choose them? they're I mean, you just find the best. It's just that's what it is. I mean, they're both phenomenal musicians and they're multi-instrumentalists, and I feel like they really came into the brass band scene right away, where that can be slightly different than just straight jazz music kind of out of
Yeah,
university. And they're musicians. But I actually am seeing that more often in the younger generation now of the kind of 20 somethings, where they're not just like, oh, I only play, like straight swing music, or I only play this. Like they're often up for playing a lot of different styles, and that's something that our band always focuses on, because we have some funk tunes, we have some, as I said, like the Latin tune, like that one, we have tunes that have like that second line New Orleans feel, and they're two musicians that have acquainted themselves really well with all of those styles, and that's what you need for like our brass band for sure.
okay. So Splaka is pure energy. What's the story behind
that
that?
one that one's a sound. It's yeah, so he came in and he had the name of the tune, and we're like, oh, what does it mean? And he's like, then he explained to Lowell, our drummer, it's what the drums do at the start of the tune, splaka 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 splaka.
Yeah,
So that's how he explained the tune right when we started it the first time he brought it
yeah.
to a rehearsal. So yeah, so that was the sound.
Oh,
So
that's
then it's like,
pretty
that's the
simple.
tune. Yeah, then you can tell it's funky just right off the start, and yeah.
Yeah. Greater Good is your love letter to New Orleans brass scene. What are some specific influencers or nods in that track that fans
Oh man, no, there's so many
can
bands
know?
that we love from down there. I mean, I think Rebirth Brass Band's probably been the one that we've kind of tried to emulate the most, in terms of,
Yeah.
especially in terms of like band size, and like because they can be sometimes a little bit smaller than some of the other bands. So what way can you make that big sound with only five or six musicians? And then obviously Rebirth, definitely the Dirty Dozen brass band. We even actually recorded a album in 2018, where we went down there and played with a couple of them, and so we played with Roger Lewis from the Dirty Dozen brass band on Barry Saxon. That was awesome. And then of course the Hot Eight brass band, and then the Soul Rebels too. So there's a good collection of those bands. That even To Be Continued is another sweet newer ish band from New Orleans that we try to take get all that sound from. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a hidden gem on NAKO that hasn't been released yet as a single?
Uh, there is well, you mean on the album? So the album has all
Yeah,
been released, yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, I know you got the setup, a hidden gem. There is a song called "The Gem," so we have one by RJ Sets of the Nothing as well.
Yes.
That's a groovy tune. It's like, it's dancey. It's kind of it's got this nice kind of clapping line. You just want to move right away on that one. But we do actually have another song that, to give it away, we have another song that we recorded at the same time, and we decided that we're going to put it out as a single later. So there will be another one called "This Is Us" coming maybe next year sometime. So we got another one in the can that's ready. It's ready to go for later too.
All right. So you've just spoke about the New Orleans scene and its inspiration. How did that connection start, and how does it continue with you?
Man, there was a lot of ways. So a lot of us did go to jazz school. Kind of heard about obviously the history of the jazz music and how it all kind of started there, and like the bands like Louis Armstrong. And I checked out a lot of Sidney Bechet stuff when I was younger, and so that kind of a little more of the trad sound. And then actually when I moved to Toronto, I started jamming with a band that actually our drummer was in. Oh no, I should go back even further. Sorry, we have so when I was in school, we had a couple of guest artists come, and one of them was Herlin Riley. I don't know if you know Herlin Riley or not, but he's a
Yeah, I heard the
ridiculous,
name.
yeah, ridiculous New
Yeah.
Orleans jazz drummer. And there's just this certain sound, and there's a certain joy to it that's like, it's like you don't get that just anywhere else. So I was like, oh yeah, Herlin, that sound, it's so great. And then I started kind of checking out more of that music, and then I came to Toronto and started jamming with a group that had like a tuba and had like the other kind of brass sounds, and then Lowell Whitty, the other original member that's still in the band from the very beginning. The second I heard him play, I was like, he has that thing. He has that second line sound that I heard in Herlin. So I'm like, I got to play with this guy as much as possible, and we've been going strong for 15 years now. So
Okay. So what's something about the Toronto brass scene that people outside the city might not know about, but they should?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It does seem to be something that's growing and something that's building. It's there's some great places for it now, like some clubs that are focused a lot on it. So one place I like to shout out is Drom Taberna, which is on Queen Street West in Toronto, and that place it will have brass bands playing multiple times a week, even multiple times a day. And there's a scene. There's brass jams. There's like a dozen different brass groups that play there, and it's something that's like wasn't maybe around when we started as much, but has grown now into something that's much more of a community now. And I think that's like what's awesome that that's happened in Toronto.
So that's always good.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Community's a
Yeah,
good
for
thing.
the
Yeah,
to grow the Canadian scene.
definitely, definitely.
After 15 years, how do you keep the sound fresh while staying true to your roots?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, we just gotta just keep going. That's
Yeah,
I think I always think of there's a Jerry Seinfeld stand up where someone asks him like, what's your favorite episode, or like, how do you keep going. He's like, they're all my babies. And I think it's stand up comedy. I think music is like that too. It's like, well, what's your favorite? It's like saying what's your favorite breath. It's like what everyone gets me to the next one. So it's like, so I'm just like, we're just going, we're doing something, and we're trying to get to the next one. So yeah, and then so every time, and the more you put out albums, the more you can play kind of cool shows. So I can actually talk about it right
yeah.
now. I'm actually in a hotel room because we're playing at the Montreal Jazz Festival the yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and that's something
Okay.
that comes out of putting out a new album, keeping music
Yeah.
fresh, keeping things happening, and then you get to play these fun shows, and then it gets to pay off in that way.
Okay. Good segue because I was gonna just ask you right now about opening up for the Roots and
Yeah.
Trombone Shorty. What was unforgettable live moments that you took from that?
Oh man. Oh, there's like, well, I mean, just being backstage and seeing like up close Questlove's groove and his feel, and just like, and how light and finesse he can be with the drums. Like sometimes you don't notice it as much from
Yeah.
afar, but when you're up close to it, it's just these little tight feels, and it's super super nice. And I have to say, like, um. I don't know how many like kind of those cool sort of celebrity moments that we've had, but
Yeah.
the Roots guys invited us into their green room after our set, like before theirs, and I think getting shots from Black Thought was probably one of my highlights of my life for sure. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
so that's kind
Oh
of cool.
man.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So yeah.
I seen them perform live a few years ago when it was the Pan Am Games in
Yeah, oh
Toronto,
yeah, 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 yeah,
like
nice.
Nathan Phillips Square.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
probably
and it
around
was
the same time that we played with them. So we played with them in the Saskatchewan Jazz Festival, Saskatoon Jazz
Saskatchewan.
Festival. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We were
Yeah,
on
yeah. They're
tour that
pretty.
year, but I think that might have been the Pan Am year. So maybe they were touring in Canada that
Yeah,
summer.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
how do how do you what's the difference of your performance when you go to different cities?
Oh, when we perform in different cities, I mean, I think it's not necessarily the cities. Sometimes it's like the crowd, and I like brass band music because you can play for a whole variety of different crowds. So I don't know if it necessarily cities, but like for instance, like we did a tour out west. What is that? 2 years ago, and ended up as far as like Tofino in BC, like on the Vancouver Island, and that's like a crew of a lot of people go there for surfing, and they're all kind of younger, and that's a kind of a raucous like 20 something crowd, and a brass band can work for that because it can be fun, it can be dancey. They were singing along to all the words to Rehab. We do that
Yeah.
cover, so that was like great. But then we came down and played in the same tour down to Nanaimo, played a show for people part of this blues society, and I think everyone there was in their 70s, and you can still get the same vibe and still get the same feels, and they might have liked slightly different songs, like they might have been into a little bit more of the second line tunes and ones like that, but it's like the brass band can work for that, which is awesome. And then yeah, and then we can play like a concert hall where maybe it's a little more focused on the solos, and you can kind of get the volume kind of up and down a little bit where you can't do that in a club as much. Love doing that too. Like times we've played it at Corner Hall, or like yeah, different other concert halls in in Toronto and in other cities that we've toured to, that's something that where we can, like, a brass band could do that too. So it's like you kind of, it's like the different, and we parade on the street. We've done shows for kids, getting them to jump around. Like it's kind of like it's all open for that. So that's how we switch it up a little bit, is like depending on the audience. So whether we're gonna go, like if we're playing a club, we might just like keep the dance going and keep that groove just
Yeah.
happening. Where if you play like a concert hall, you're slowing it down a little bit. You might have like another tune that's a little more introspective, like in there somewhere. So
The
you kind of switch it
experience,
up based on the audience.
yeah,
Yeah.
the experience is a different setting too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
you describe your sound as flag planted in the middle of the dance floor. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I mean, that's that one. It's like just keeping that groove going, just
Yeah,
just having that the one. Like we got a couple of really dancey ones on this album. Like there's two in a row. This Go On Get Your Groove On and The Gem are both like a little more yeah, like just straight like more disco dance tunes, and they're
yeah,
ones that, yeah, they're ones we're definitely pulling out at a club. But then even at the festival yesterday, even the people sitting we were kind of playing this gazebo thing, and there's people sitting on the steps, and even you can kind of tell they're kind of moving like as we're playing, and we're like, yes, it's working, it's working. That's yeah. So that's the goal. The goal is always getting people moving. That's always the plan.
guess
Yeah.
that's like a special feeling for you when you see when you put your music out and people are vibing to it.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's just like yeah, that feeling of like you start a tune and the groove's there, and they're just like, yeah, and then that's huge. I love that every time. So
With NAKO marking a major milestone, where do you see the band going next? And are there any dream collaborations or directions you'd like to explore?
oh, dream collaborations. It's true. We haven't. This one we didn't do. We did just we did the six of us, which was cool because we added the second trumpet. So we didn't
Yeah,
always have two trumpets. So that's a kind of a bigger sound and it's fun. But it's true. We haven't done as many. We have some ones in past albums that we did more things with vocalists, and we haven't done that. We didn't do that as much on this one. So that would definitely be a direction that could be fun to go in the future. I actually just did a show with Jackie Richardson again recently, and she's on our This City album, and just that soulful voice. I'm like, oh, maybe I have to work out a way to play with her again. So
yeah.
that definitely would be one. But yeah, so maybe like, yeah, maybe having some the vocal collaborations, and or even like we've thought about it before. We have a couple tunes that can lend themselves towards more like a hip hop thing as well. So that's an area that might be kind of a cool direction to go next. But I don't know. You never kind of know until you're kind of writing the tunes
And
and
you're
like, oh,
doing
where are
it,
these going to
yeah.
go? Yeah. So we don't know for sure. But yeah.
So describe knockout in 3 words.
Uh, Brass band party.
Okay. So what one piece of advice do you believe that younger musicians should know stepping into the genre?
I think it's well, I mean, obviously you got to work on your instrument. You got to have everything, the facility to do anything you want to do. Like you, always modeling the masters, always checking out like for saxophone players, like I have, doing the transcriptions, like really hanging out with so ones that have influenced my sound to get that kind of dancey sound, like someone like Joshua Redman, I've listening to him constantly in a bunch of different settings. So one's like he has this Spirit of the Moment, Night of the Night of the Village Vanguard that he has that has that energy that I've always been trying to emulate. And so I just I take it in listening to it, I transcribe it, I try to be able to do everything on my saxophone that I can do to get to that level. And then the big thing is start writing your own stuff and start your own band. So I think a lot of musicians, especially in school, they learn their stuff, they get their stuff ready, and then they go out there and say like, well, nobody's calling me. Like I don't know where everybody is. Like why am I not getting gigs? And it's like, yeah. So that's what we did. We put our own group together. We kind of started our own sound, and then started giving that to things and giving it something that was like, oh, this is actually good for a lot of different audiences. So then it's like something that can be created on your own instead of kind of waiting for it. I think that's
Yeah.
that what I would say would be the key.
So where could people find the album?
What's that? Yeah, so it's on all the streaming things. So yeah, it's on the Spotify and the Apple Music and the Deezer and all the all the stuff, YouTube. Definitely all there. If anyone's in the Toronto area, we'll do a personal drive you a vinyl if you want to buy it. So just check out www.heavyweightsbrassband.com and send us a message, and we'll send our drummer bike courier out to you to get the vinyl to you. So yeah, in the Toronto area. I don't think we can bike too much farther than that, but yeah.
I know there's some DJs that love their vinyls.
Yeah, totally. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So, is there any lasting words you want to leave the viewers?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, just check it out. Listen to music and go to live shows. It's such a huge thing. I feel like it's diminishing a little bit in the world
Social
of the
media?
screens and the social media and everything. People just want to stay home. Just get out there and take the energy in live. It makes such a difference, and I feel like it's such a great thing to do. See ya.